Live, very unique, special.
I have ambition for our country and have a practical plan to deliver it. I've changed the Labour Party.
General election.
In the service
Rishi Sunak versus
now I'm
Keir.
seeking your backing to change our country.
Nationwide video election, UK 24.
For you and your family.
Time at the moment is 21:04 p.m. analog. That is approximately 9:04 p.m. in digital, 29:04 p.m.
So I'll keep this simple.
And it is
in 5 weeks, either Keir Starmer or
June the 4th,
will be Prime Minister.
Tuesday evening,
Beyond raising your taxes and raiding your pensions, no one knows what Labour would actually do. But you know what I would do. I'll cut your taxes, protect your pension, and reduce immigration. I have a clear plan for a more secure future for you and your family.
I trust you a lot less than the other bloke, a lot less, in my opinion.
Well, we invited viewers from right across the country to submit questions. We have independently selected the questioners here with us this evening. I'll also raise some points made by people who couldn't be here. The two leaders don't know what they'll be asked. Also here, people who'll listen to tonight's debate. Some have voted Conservative and Labour in the past and think they will do so on July the 4th. And some have voted for other parties or are undecided. You can join the debate wherever you are by using the hashtag #ITVDebate. And just before we go to our first question, a reminder that each leader will have 45 seconds to respond initially. Now, our first question on the cost of living, Paula from Huddersfield. Paula.
Good evening, both. I have worked since I was 15 years old, and at the moment I hold a full-time, stable job. My children have left home. In the last few years, I found it very difficult to make ends meet, and the money simply doesn't go far enough. All I do is work to live. My food bill is nearly doubled. I'm in arrears with my bills.
Wow.
I spend my weekends batch cooking,
that's toxic.
so I don't have to turn on my oven in peak times. My savings are gone, and I'm genuinely worried about my future. I don't think you actually understand how this is for people like me. So what can you do about that?
Thank you very much indeed, Paula, for your question. Rishi Sunak.
Well, Paula, I know how much of a strain the last few years have put on your family finances, the family finances of everyone in our country. And that's why my priority has always been to do what I can to support you. That started with bold action, like the furlough scheme during the pandemic, and more recently, my clear plan to bring inflation back to normal. And now, our economy is growing again, wages are rising, and crucially,
I don't feel like it.
able to now
I'm sorry, mate. It's too little, too late.
But I know you're only just starting to see the benefits of that, as you described. So the choice at this election is with my clear plan and bold action to keep cutting your taxes, to give you financial security, or put all that progress at risk with higher taxes, £2,000 worth of higher taxes under the Labour Party.
Thank you, Rishi Sunak.
No, you can say what to say, mate.
Well, I'm really sorry to hear the position that you're in. It must be really, really difficult on a daily basis. And there'll be millions of people watching this who feel in a similar position to you, that the cost of living crisis is really bearing down on them with constant worry. I'm not going to pretend that Ukraine and COVID hasn't made things worse, but this government has lost control. Liz Truss crashed the economy. They made it worse here than in other countries. And it's people like you that are paying the price, because if a government loses control of the economy, as they have, it's working people that pay the price. And Liz Truss's advisors are in the House of Lords. She's going to be a candidate at the next election. Rishi Sunak is putting her forward. We've got to stop this chaos, got to stop the division, turn a page, and start to rebuild under Labour.
Hey, I agree with you, mate. You've got my vote.
45 seconds each.
Look.
Just to turn to you first, Keir Starmer.
Got my yes on that.
The point that Rishi Sunak made is the economy is growing again. The plan is working, is his view.
Well, he says the plan is working. He says the plan is working. So the question for him is, why has he called the election now? Because if he thinks things are going to get better towards the second half of this year, why has he called it now? He's called it now because he knows, and I'll ask him this, he knows inflation is going to go back up.
Of course it is.
Energy prices are going to go back up.
Food prices going back up.
That's what he's not telling you.
He's right. Keir Starmer's definitely a good man.
He believes the plan is working, because if he thought the plan was working, he wouldn't have called this election right now.
Rishi Sunak.
I agree with him.
It's slightly ironic, because from the moment I got this job, Keir Starmer was telling me, call an election, call an election. And now that we've called an election, he's saying, oh no, don't have an election because I don't want to tell you what I'm going to do.
But you
And
know
this is the
interest
choice.
rates are gonna
This is
go
the
up.
choice
Rishi Sunak.
for everybody.
Here we
The plan
go.
is working, of course I know.
He's
Everyone
a very
only
evil
trusts
politician,
Starmer to
Rishi
kill the
Sunak
benefits
is.
of it, but
Don't
inflation
trust
is
him.
back to normal, wages are growing, taxes are now
Get out of my
Keir
city,
Starmer
Mr.
would put all
Sunak.
that
Get out of my
progress
town.
at
Bring your
risk.
hook.
He would put up everyone's taxes by £2,000. £2,000 in higher taxes for every working family in our country after all the hard work and sacrifice we've been through. That's not the
Stop
right course of action.
scaring us.
I don't know
Scare
why we put up
tactics as
people's
usual.
taxes.
Keir Starmer.
Paul, I just don't know how you feel when you hear a Prime Minister say, having heard what you're going through, that the plan is working, it's all right. I mean, so many people who are struggling with their bills, and the Prime Minister just keeps saying he lives in a different world. That
Could you-
But Keir Starmer, if people are struggling with their bills, why do you want to make it harder for them by saddling them with £2,000 worth of higher taxes? How is that going to make Paula or anyone's life easier?
Could you respond directly to Rishi Sunak?
This is the Prime Minister who's been part of a government that has put up tax 26 times.
Aye.
The manifesto that they had in 2019 said we won't put up national insurance. This man then put up national insurance. He's the British expert on tax rises. They're at the highest level for 70 years. And he's got the gall to say other people are going to.
I know you're going to hear a lot about the past in this election, but this
Well, of
election
course,
is
14
about the
years.
future. This election is about the future, and I'm clear that I'm going to keep cutting people's taxes, as we now are.
Can we just-
You want to put everyone's taxes
right.
up by
Thank you.
£2,000, and this is really important.
Yeah.
Independent Treasury officials have costed Labour's policies, and they amount to a £2,000 tax rise
Okay.
for every
Well,
working
let
family.
me-
Wait,
No, this is
I
important. Mark my words. Labour will raise
you.
your taxes.
Thank
It's
you.
in their DNA. Your work, your car, your pension.
Thank you. Okay,
name
we-
it,
sorry, I am
Labour
going to-
will tax it.
Liar.
No, I'm just going to draw breath there a moment, please, gentlemen. We're going to be talking about tax again later on.
I do
And
just want to answer that
I
point
just
about
want to
£2,000.
bring this part of the debate back very firmly to Paula's question. She made it very clear how hard her life is at the moment. You did acknowledge it, both of you. She spends her weekends batch cooking so she doesn't have to turn her oven on during peak times. There is worry here right before our eyes that were being echoed across the country. One of the key points that Paula says is this: says, I don't think you understand how hard it is for people like me. What are you going to do about it? How do you actually connect with Paula? Rishi Sunak.
Well, I'd ask everyone to judge me by my actions. You saw what I did during the pandemic. When disaster struck our country, I implemented the furlough scheme because I knew the devastating impact it would have on people. And you know what? Every week.
Yeah, but you left us with a big mass tax burden. Now you're taxing the disabled people and people that are worse off for no good reason. You shouldn't do that.
Keep delivering financial security by
Liar.
people's taxes.
Thank you.
Whereas the Labour
you,
Party
Rishi
want to
Sunak.
keep putting people's taxes up,
She'll-
and that's not going to help
Thank
anyone
you, Rishi
overcome
Sunak.
the challenges they're
Can I
facing.
just-
Paula wants to know what you're going to do about
Yeah,
it.
well, I think
Keir
what you
Starmer.
put to the Prime Minister is how does he connect? And Paula, what I would say is this. My dad worked in a factory. He was a toolmaker. My mum was a nurse. We didn't have a lot of money when I was growing up, and we were in a position on occasion where we couldn't pay our bills. So I know how that feels. In our particular case, we had our phone cut off because we didn't have the money.
Oh my
so
God.
I do know the anguish
Wow.
of worrying when the postman comes with a bill. What is that bill going to be? Can I pay
Are
for it?
you saying
I
Rishi-
don't think the Prime Minister quite understands the position that you and
Of course
other
he
people
doesn't.
are in. I do want to, if I may, just ask.
I like this
No,
bloke.
Let's
He's
answer
trustworthy.
Please let Rishi
Because-
Sunak respond to that, please.
Because this election is about the future and making people's lives better. Now, I've got a clear plan to ease those anxieties that Paula and everyone is facing, because things are tough. I want to make them easier by continuing to cut your taxes. The difference of this election is Keir Starmer.
Yeah, you're lying. You're not trustworthy. You're
People are
lying.
worried about their electricity bill, their food.
Liar, liar, liar.
I am going to stop. I am going to
£2,000 worth of tax rises
Thank
are
you.
not going to help with
Thank
any
you
of those
both,
things.
Rishi Sunak and
I'll
Keir
ask
Starmer.
again,
I
why do
am
you want
going
to
to
put
draw a
everyone's
line
taxes
under
up?
this part of the debate. We're going to be talking about tax again later on, and also to both of you, we'll be talking about that. Paula, thank you very much
There you
indeed
go.
for your question. We're now going to go.
Please subscribe to my channel on Sign Jones. The force be with you always. Look close my spot. The need so many away. You need to feel this. My friends Barky and Jimbo every Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. ITF Friday. So Hills radio station every Friday. And this is my friend Shane live with Cindy Lou every Friday at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Every Friday on So Hills radio station. And this is my friend Joel on the last show every Sunday at 9 to 12 and live on the Waking Race show at 9 to 12 on the last show. Please subscribe on Sign Jones. It's quite a massive debate tonight. I trust Keir Starmer more than Rishi Sunak at the moment. I think Rishi Sunak's a liar. I don't trust that politician, Prime Minister of England, one bit. How about what you think? Leave an opinion below what you think. Please subscribe on Sign Jones. Bye.